not going to believe this, but the White House press corps has actually decided to start working.
In order to increase day-to-day transparency, the White House Correspondents Association is seeking more meaningful and consistent access to the president. LA Times reporter and president of the WHCA, Christy Parsons, claimed it's time for White House correspondents to band together in response to a number of issues, including a lack of opportunities to question the president and the White House appearing to bypass the press corps through social media. The WHCA is urging the president to hold a full press conference with a rotating pool of official reporters at least once a month. The association also wants to hold briefings on record instead of on background, forcing administration participants to be recognized by name instead of as senior officials. Their end goal is, quote, a statement we all support, a shared vision of an open and transparent White House, not just for this White House, but for administrations to come.
All right, I'm pretty sure I can speak for the whole panel here when I say that generally the media does a pretty shitty job. Can I speak for you guys when I say that? Generally, when it comes to holding our politicians and our presidents to account, they do a pretty shitty job. Am I okay with there?
Yes, I agree.
Are you with me, Paul?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a give and take system there. You know, the White House and the press, they kind of have this kind of mutual jack-off going on.
Right.
You know, which is important to understand. That
except we're the ones getting screwed.
Yeah, there's a lot of cozying up that goes on there, and you know, in terms of access, that's often used as currency, where you know you print that story, you'll never get access to this whole other world that you want to cover, blah blah blah. So it's always been corrupt, but this new transparency, it's garbage.
It's garbage. So that's what I'm saying. This is purely garbage because
of course,
for 6 years this administration has been saying it's the most transparent administration ever. Meanwhile, Snowden and James Clapper, the head of the CIA, who lied to Congress, he's fine. Snowden's out of the country, and there's a zillion other examples of that.
All the backroom dealing, and the fact that you know the fact that bills are passed in Congress and in the Senate where even the representatives themselves don't even get a chance to have access to the material in the bills.
Right.
I mean, it's just crazy. Here's the deal. You know, in the UK they have something that's fantastic, and I would love to see it here because here we're not as polite as they are in the UK.
Right.
And over in the UK they do this thing called Prime Minister Question Time, and they get really agitated, and I would love to see that happen here in America, where they don't know from agitation, they don't know from going crazy on somebody. I would love to see that here, and I don't understand why we don't have it.
Yes, I used to do a bit about that actually, because they literally yell at each other.
They yell at each other.
And yet what we do here is we go, the distinguished gentleman from Tennessee, and it's like, you know that guy's a fucking idiot, and it's like we do this game. But is this, to me, this is sort of the worst of what I've sort of not liked about this administration, that they've, like, openness. That was what the idea, when he came in, open change, we wanted openness. But to me, there's nothing better about this administration in that regard than there was before. And if anything, we prosecute more reporters than ever before. I mean, it's sad, right?
It is, you know, I totally get what you guys are saying, but here I kind of feel like you guys are right, but no one wants to know the complete truth. Number one. Number two is, you know,
you almost said number true.
Number two is, it sounds like their feelings are hurt, like little baby bitches. They are so sad that the president just isn't that into them. You know what I mean? Like, you know, what kind of demands, you know, do they want?
Right.
I mean,
So
it's not fair to go after the press for trying to do, you know, what we're decrying that they're not doing. Right. You know, I mean, they should be whiny little bitches.
We want that to be completely transparent when now they're saying there's 11 examples of Brian Williams, you know, exaggerating the truth. I mean, you know,
we're screwed no matter.
By the way, Brian Williams, who of course was the only person fired because of a lie of the Iraq War. That's a whole So in a weird way, while I'm being critical of Obama here, he's just doing what anyone else would do, right? If you were the president, wouldn't you do everything in your power never to sit down and answer questions that you didn't want to?
Yes.
That's all he's doing, right?
I don't know. There's something very wrong with the entire system from top to bottom, and that's why nobody can speak openly about it, and that's why transparency is such a threat to the entire institution. So, I mean, but, you know, look, I come from the point of view that there is no president that can make a difference. This system is so much larger than one person or one administration that it doesn't matter. And I think that, you know, I think that he does a lot of glad handing. He has to. He's the president. It's politics. and it's all glad handing. I mean, you want to count lies? Let's go through every president ever, and you see who has the fewest.
So do you kind of buy the Bill Hicks theory? You know, he used to do that thing about the day you become president, they show you the file, and it shows it shows the JFK assassination, and you're like, okay.
From Woodrow Wilson on, we've been warned about, and in an ascending graph chart, we've been warned about, you know, the development of a shadow government, and it's firmly entrenched. I think it would be either naive or disingenuous to not believe that.
Yeah. How do you then go on when you have these thoughts?
Right. I just think that no one really, and I'm saying this again, wants to hear the complete truth, because the complete truth is there probably are aliens. They're probably circling around the planet.
Yeah, one of them could be on this panel right now.
You know, I don't know what the answer is, but I disagree that a president can't make a change. I think we as individuals have to understand the idea that one person is going to change every little terrible thing is silliness. But he has made a change as far as healthcare that's affected my life in a better way and my children's life. So, I mean, I think people do make a change. It's not as grandiose as everybody wants it to be, because everybody wants everything right now in 3 seconds.
And by the way, the president is only 1/3 of the branches of government. People seem to think that he's a king or want him to be a king. But to your point about the about Obamacare, so he got something that was passed that worked for you, but if you remember when he was running, he kept saying, we're going to do this all open, it's all going to be on C-SPAN, we're going to show you how he did it, and of course they didn't do that. So it's an interesting blend of, something good came out of the sausage machine at the end, but you know, we wanted to sort of see how they do it.
And it also depends on your perspective. Like, to me, what was good about Obamacare pales in comparison to the fact that it was just a sop to the insurance industry. You know, I mean, if you really wanted to make change, you got to go outside the system. And I just believe that the system is corrupting. It chews and spits out great statesmen and stateswomen, even the most well-intended of them. But, you know, let's go back to transparency. What do you know about TPP? What do you know about that? What do you know about
Nobody's talking. We haven't even done anything on it. Right,
do you have any idea what's going on with water in this country, let alone globally? They can't tell you the truth because they would be rioting in the streets. So you're never going to get transparency.
Well, note we filled your glasses up with water.
I don't. You guys are rebels.
We're on it. Anyway, the point is there a shadow government? Do you believe in aliens? What was the original point of this story?
Oh, that's not the same thing. Those two things aren't the same thing.
Let us know in the comments right down below.